That's bad.
All right, today we're going to do some exhaust testing and hopefully find out which muffler sounds best for our turbo small block Ford here. So a quick rundown on the motor. This is a 331 cubic inch small block Ford. It has aluminum AFR heads. Pretty basic turbo kit from QuickTime. This is an eBay 7875 turbo, Demon blow-through carb, Edelbrock Victor Jr. intake. It should make in the 400 horsepower range. I would think that's a pretty safe bet. Not sure what cam it is. And today we're going to test 4 different setups to see what sounds the best. We're not necessarily trying to make the most horsepower, but we're trying to find out, as far as something like this where it's a driver, what sounds the best. Anybody who's watched Engine Masters already knows that when it comes to turbo applications like this, the less exhaust, the better. It'll make more horsepower, more torque pretty much everywhere. After that, you start kind of choking out. So we are probably going to rob a little bit of horsepower from this thing, but that's what boost is for. So these are 3 of the ones that we're going to be testing. This is to signify for straight pipe, because what I've got on the car right now is a 3-inch stainless exhaust coming from the turbo to right about in here, give or take, where we can slide the mufflers on and off. And then after that, we've got this Dynamax muffler that came on the car initially, and you can kind of see through it. It's not really a chambered design, but it does make the air have to kind of work its way through. And then last but not least, we've got this Black Widow Venom that is basically completely straight through. It's just a glorified resonator. Now, I did say we're going to be testing 4 different ones, so let me show you what we're going to be starting with. Our control here is this 3-inch little dump pipe right off the exhaust housing of the turbo. And this is going to kind of simulate what you'd see with like a fender exit thing. It'll probably be a touch louder, but it's basically going to be the same as like a fender exit like I've got on the RX-7 or what a ton of the Turbo LS guys run. So that's what we're going to start with, and then we'll put the exhaust system back on it, and then we'll go to straight pipe, and then we'll put the Dynamax on it, and then we'll probably end with what I'm expecting to be my favorite is the Black Widow Venom. So let's get this thing fired up. A couple little shots there. Car is great, not so much for a street car. Yeah, for a race car, it's awesome. Not so much for a street car, but it did sound super good. You could really hear the cam chopping. But yeah, I think just cruising around, that'd probably get a little old, although I might be lying because that's what I do with the RX-7. So now I can start pulling this off and start throwing the exhaust system on it. Alright, so here is our stainless exhaust. You can see it dumps right back here. So we've got all the room for the mufflers. So let's drop the car, see how it sounds. Alright, this is with the straight pipe. Sounds pretty good, got some rumble to it. So honestly, that wasn't really too bad. The garage is obviously going to make it sound a lot louder than it is, and it really wasn't too loud. Now let's try it with the Dynamax on it. All right, we're gonna call that good enough because that was an absolute fight to get that thing on. So, let's drop the car down, fire it up. I think I might pull these apart and put some of the copper sealant on there, and then hopefully that fixes that little ticking sound. Because when I had just the little 3-inch dump here, it sounded awesome. There wasn't any like exhaust leak coming from the headers. So I'm pretty sure it's just those V-bands. So the Dynamax is like a really nice kind of reserved rumble. So now it's time for what I suspect is going to be the favorite, the Black Widows. So this one I can probably put on one-handed. There we go. Let's drop it down and fire it up. That sounds great. So hopefully those leaky V-bands didn't ruin the video and you could get a good idea of what each one sounds like. For this last one, I did try to tighten them up a whole lot more and it quieted it down a little bit, but I still think I need to pull it apart and put some of the copper seal on it. Because they just go flat to flat. There's not like that interlocking lip, you know? But yeah, I think the Black Widow is definitely my favorite. I think that the Dynamax is a really cheap, good alternative. It had a really nice low rumble to it. But the Black Widow, it was quiet enough that I think street driving it every day wouldn't be a big deal. I would like to do like a turn down or something to help keep drone out of the car. Because right now it's just like straight into the axle and it can kind of reverberate, you know what I mean? And I think the straight pipe, if I wasn't going to put my kids in it, it'd probably be fine, you know, fun race car feel. And obviously the dump pipe straight off the turbo sounds the best as far as just pure engine sound and not having a leaky V-band. But I would say that my go-to would be the Black Widow with a close second actually being the Dynamax. And then probably straight off the turbo and then the straight pipe. Now if we're talking horsepower, then it'd be kind of the opposite. Number one would be a dump pipe straight off the turbo, and then straight pipe, and then Black Widow, and then Dynamax. So hopefully this video helps. If nothing else, it was entertaining, and I got to hear different mufflers on my car and make my decision. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell. I'll see you next time.